Chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Evans, for his 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Chair, Ranking Member. Thank you, of course, to the witnesses for taking some time to come out and talk to us today. I'm from Colorado. We know what's happening. Energy demand is rising rapidly. I've got utilities in my district that are expecting to triple demand in the next 10 years, and that's after already doubling it in the last 10 years. And unfortunately, the energy policies in Colorado right now, not my numbers, the Democrat-controlled Colorado Energy Office say that their plan to get to net zero emissions is going to cost $60 billion plus. And as we're doing that, they're actually making less electricity per federal data, 58,000 gigawatt hours 2 years ago and only 56,000 gigawatt hours this year. So people are paying more money for less electricity, less reliable electricity. And one of the ways we can fix that is with nuclear. It's baseload dispatchable, it's very low emissions, it helps keep prices stable, prevents blackouts, preemptive shutouts, and permitting reform is an essential piece of being able to bring this energy back onto the grid. I've been proud to work on a bipartisan permitting reform framework with some of my colleagues actually on this committee and across the aisle, Mr. Peters being one. Which has got the support of about 50 bipartisan members of Congress. And one of the things in that platform is eliminating the uncontested mandatory NRC hearings for new reactors. And that's reflected in one of the bills before us today, Mr. Griffith's bill. And in previous conversations, experts have testified that that could reduce permitting timelines by 6 months without compromising public safety or engagement. And so I'm super excited to see this bill moving. My first question to Mr. Harrell is going to be to you. We've got innovation happening all over the nation and even in the state of Colorado. Buckley Air Force Base or Space Force Base, they're under a Department of War contract to bring microreactor technology in my district. We've got the old Fort St. Vrain nuclear plant, which has now got nuclear storage for about 33,000 pounds of spent fuel. And so, Mr. Harrell, what's the current status of the NRC's major rulemakings under the Trump administration, and how did today's proposals help build on that so we can actually get nuclear technology on the grid?
Yeah, it's a great question, Congressman, and thank you for your leadership on permit reform. Beyond the things that are nuclear specific here, we need to be modernizing our grid and really bringing new generation of all types to the marketplace quickly to meet rising demand. On the NRC side, we are in a critical moment, right? A lot of the regulatory actions that have come forth in the last 3 months have been a result of your all's bipartisan leadership over the last 10 years, from NEMA, from the ADVANCE Act. And so we're now seeing those come to fruition, and there's some real-world examples of where we're seeing results coming from those type of reforms. I mean, I would underscore in Texas, the X-Energy project, without the work that you all did over the last 5 years, there is no way the NRC would have ultimately landed on an NEA for that project and do the environmental in under 12 months. And then these bills build on that type of momentum, right? We need to keep plugging forward and showing the marketplace that we've got a regulator that's nimble, that's predictable, that is diligent, and that is ultimately going to put U.S. nuclear leadership in the forefront.
Thank you for that. Mr. Merrifield, I'm going to come to you next, Chairman. I mentioned that 33,000 pounds of spent fuel that we have in my district in Colorado. And so part of this whole nuclear conversation, of course, involves the supply chains, from being able to produce the fuels, mill and refine the fuels, use them, but then obviously, what's the end of life cycle for those fuels? And so the question to you today, and I know we've already talked about it some, but if there's anything to add about what is the legislation today that we're talking about, or are there other things that we need to talk about to help the U.S. establish that complete fuel cycle, specifically including that end of life fuel, and can modern technology help reuse that?
I think the legislation today is going to be helpful in helping to spur innovation in recycling of used nuclear fuel. There are, by my count, probably 7 or 8 different companies out there that are pursuing different types of potential recycling of that material. As Maria described, it would really help utilize that material in a very appropriate way. And frankly, the massive amount of energy that it still contains would be something that could help power our nation's future nuclear fleet. So that's an area I think we will see more coming out of the NRC. We'll see more that probably Congress will need to assist in that area. It's quite exciting. I do think we need to put some attention to the front end of the fuel cycle. Uranium production conversion, having sufficient enrichment. All of these pieces come together for us to be able to build and sustain a nuclear fleet.
I also will get gavelled if I keep going, so I'm out of time and will yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Chair